You may be giving up respect, opportunities, and admiration every single day, without realizing that one of the biggest reasons is staring back at you in the mirror every morning. The world responds to the image you project long before it knows your story. Before hearing your voice, discovering your intelligence, or recognizing your character, people notice the marks your habits have left on your face, your posture, and your presence. And those signs never go unnoticed. They reveal whether you take care of yourself or whether you've given up on yourself, whether there is discipline or complacency, whether there is energy to truly live or only enough strength to survive one more day. Most people believe appearance is determined by genetics. It isn't. Appearance is the result of repeated behavior. It reflects the choices you make when no one else is watching. Every night of poor sleep, every day of ignored stress, every time you neglect your own body, every habit you keep putting off changing, leaves a silent signature on the person you are becoming. Then one day, you avoid the camera, avoid the mirror, avoid putting yourself out there because you feel the person staring back at you no longer reflects who you truly are inside. But that is not where this story ends. The best news is that just as unhealthy habits transformed your appearance, new habits can rebuild it. Your face responds to the way you live. Your body responds to your decisions. Your presence responds to the respect you have for yourself. When you begin taking care of yourself, you don't just change the way you look. You change the energy you bring into every room. You change the way you look at people. You change the confidence with which you speak. You change the way the entire world responds to your presence. Because people who value themselves naturally project value. People who become stronger inspire strength. People who choose to take care of themselves send a silent message that no expensive outfit or polished speech could ever imitate. Today, you're going to discover 9 habits that are stealing your best image, and you'll learn how to replace them with simple actions that restore your vitality, your presence, and your self-confidence. But before we begin, make the first choice of your transformation. Write this in the comments. Today, I choose to take care of myself. Because your life changes when your habits change. And it all begins the moment you decide that you deserve to look in the mirror and feel proud of the person you're becoming. First, your sleep. Have you ever noticed what you look like after getting only 4 hours of sleep? Darker circles under your eyes, dull skin, a drained expression, eyes that have lost their spark. It's like waking up with your body turned on, but your entire system running in low power mode. Now imagine doing that not for one night, but for months, for years. That's not just fatigue. It's accumulated wear and tear disguised as routine. You're not just tired, you're speeding up your body's aging process without even realizing it. Studies suggest that poor sleep can make your face appear noticeably more tired and older than your actual age. One night doesn't seem like much, but your body doesn't count nights. It counts repetition, and repetition creates patterns. Your body always charges interest, and poor sleep is long-term debt. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, was deeply intentional about the way he used his time, and he considered sleep an essential part of a well-lived life. He once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Poor sleep is one of the quietest ways to waste it. You save hours at night and end up paying with years of vitality later. Sleeping isn't laziness. Sleeping is essential maintenance. While you sleep, your skin repairs itself, your cells renew themselves, your brain organizes memories, emotions, and decisions, and your face literally rebuilds itself. Depriving yourself of that is like driving your car every day without oil. It keeps running until it doesn't. Your body works the same way. People who don't sleep well don't suddenly break down. They slowly wear themselves out until exhaustion, irritability, lack of focus, and looking worn out all start to feel normal. Then you look in the mirror and see dark circles that never go away, lifeless skin, a face that always looks tired, even on days when you didn't really do that much. Wrinkles that seem deeper than they should be. And here's the hard part to accept. It's not genetics, it's your routine. The Stoics viewed sleep as something sacred, not as a luxury. It was preparation for the next day, not an escape from the previous one. Sleeping well was an act of self-respect. A rested body thinks more clearly, reacts less impulsively, and makes better decisions. And if you want to fix this, you don't need to create the perfect nighttime ritual. You need to create one that you can actually stick to. 30 minutes before bed, turn off every screen, no exceptions. Read something calming and take a few deep breaths. Let your body know the battle is over. Sleep for 7 to 8 hours. Don't negotiate with the very thing that supports every other part of your life. Think of it this way. Sleeping well is like hitting the reset button on your system. If you never reset it, it starts freezing up. And if you keep forcing a frozen system to run, eventually it crashes. And here's your challenge, not as a test, but as proof. Tomorrow morning, take a picture of your face. No filters, no flattering angles, then sleep for 7 hours or more for 7 straight nights. That's it. Take another picture and compare them. The difference won't be subtle. It'll reveal just how far below your body's true potential you've been living. People who sleep better don't just live longer. They live with greater presence, greater clarity, and greater dignity in their own bodies. Second, constant stress. There is an internal state that determines how you live, how you react, and how other people perceive you, even when nothing serious is happening. Constant stress, not the temporary stress of a difficult day or a heavy week, but the continuous silent stress that becomes the background noise of your life. You wake up already rushing. You spend the day solving problems with your body locked in tension. You go to bed exhausted, but you never truly relax. Rest never arrives because the alarm inside you never shuts off. And now comes the part that almost nobody realizes. You don't live this way because life is simply too hard. You live this way because your body has learned to function in emergency mode, even when there is no emergency at all. Constant stress isn't emotional, it's physiological. It shows up in permanently raised shoulders, shallow breathing, a clenched jaw, a stiff face, restless eyes. Before you say a single word, your body is already communicating urgency, tension, impatience, and defensiveness. You don't look busy, you look overwhelmed, and the world responds accordingly. People who are constantly stressed get interrupted more often, questioned more often, disrespected more easily, not because they say the wrong things, but because their bodies communicate vulnerability under pressure. It's like living with a fire alarm blaring all day long. Even without a fire, the noise drives you crazy, your body wears down, and no one can think clearly. When stress becomes your permanent state, your brain shifts into survival mode. And in survival mode, you don't create, you don't make good decisions, and you can't maintain a strong presence. You simply react. And here's one way to change that from the inside out. The main switch for stress isn't your thoughts, it's your breathing. Short, shallow breaths that stay trapped in your chest keep your body on high alert. Your brain interprets danger. Cortisol rises, tension takes over. You don't think, "I'm stressed." You breathe like you're stressed, and everything else follows. When your breathing becomes deeper and reaches your abdomen, your body receives a different message. There is no immediate threat. And when that message arrives, stress begins to loosen its grip. Your face relaxes, your shoulders drop, your posture opens up, your voice slows down. You begin to occupy space with calmness, confidence, and control without forcing it. This isn't mystical relaxation, it's basic physiology. Athletes use it before competition. Military personnel train it so they won't panic. Public speakers rely on it to avoid freezing under pressure. Because the person who controls their breathing controls their internal state. And the person who controls their internal state is no longer controlled by stress. And here's the practical exercise, simple and direct. 3 times a day, stop for 1 minute. Take a deep breath through your nose, letting the air fill your abdomen. Slowly exhale through your mouth. Repeat this 10 times. It's not an advanced technique. It's simply you telling your body that the danger has passed. Over time, something changes. You react less. You get irritated less often. You think more clearly under pressure. People naturally respect you more, not because life became easier, but because constant stress stopped being the one in control. You're not exhausted because you do too much. You're exhausted because you've been living in a constant state of alert. When stress stops being your engine, your presence changes. And presence begins with the air you breathe. Third, your posture. It's not about standing up straight because you were taught to or because it looks better. It's because if you spend your entire day slouched over, your body starts signing a receipt for exhaustion before you even realize it. It's you settling for less in the world, and the world giving you the bare minimum in return. Think about it. Are you sitting or standing like someone who's just trying to get through the day, or like someone who faces it head-on? Look at your body as if you were watching yourself from the outside. Are your shoulders rounded forward or slightly pulled back? Look at your neck. Is it pushing your head toward the screen, or is it aligned with your spine? Now here's the part almost nobody notices. You don't do this for a few minutes. You do it for years. Your body learns the place you're willing to occupy, and it stays there. You spend 12, 14, sometimes even 16 hours a day, with your body closed off, contracted, compressed, taking up less space than you could. And the problem isn't appearance. The problem is the message. Before you ever say a word, your body has already spoken. Lack of presence, insecurity, someone trying to slip by without bothering anyone. Your body speaks before your mind ever gets the chance to explain itself. This isn't about attractiveness, it's about presence. You can wear the best clothes, have the best haircut, the best genetics, but if you walk through life hunched over, the world reads you as someone asking permission to exist, and inevitably people treat you differently. Not because people are cruel, but because human beings constantly respond to signals of confidence or vulnerability, even without realizing it. You're not worth any less, but you're presenting yourself as someone who's willing to settle for less. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his personal journal, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." But what almost nobody realizes is that the body also shapes the soul, and many times it does it first. Neuroscience confirms this. When you remain hunched over, your chest closes, your breathing becomes shallow, oxygen levels drop, cortisol rises, and your body shifts into a state of alert. Your brain doesn't interpret that as bad posture, it interprets it as danger. You don't consciously think, "I'm smaller." You feel smaller. Anyone who lives in that state doesn't have to fail to feel defeated. The body has already placed the mind in that position. Your presence arrives before your words do. It's like trying to keep something valuable inside a crushed box. Even when it's full, it never looks complete. The shape can't support what's inside. And a slouched posture does exactly that to you. You may have value, competence, and good intentions, but you communicate less than you truly are because your outer structure isn't supporting your inner strength. And here's the most important point. The solution isn't force, it's repeated awareness. The Stoics called this prososche, vigilant attention to the present moment. In everyday life, that simply means creating small reminders so you don't abandon yourself throughout the day. Do something simple today. Set 5 alarms on your phone. Every time one goes off, do a quick check. Shoulders back, chest open, chin parallel to the floor, breathing deep into your diaphragm. It's not a pose, it's alignment. It sounds simple, but it isn't. Within 5 days, you'll notice something interesting. People interrupt you less, listen to you more, and respond differently because presence changes the atmosphere of a room without you saying a single word. The world doesn't treat you better because you asked it to. It treats you differently because you stopped making yourself smaller. That's body language applied to real life. Judges adjust their posture before they speak. Leaders do it without thinking. Insecure people close themselves off without even noticing. The person who learns to support their own body gradually learns to support their own presence. And here's your practical challenge. For the next 3 days, every time you remember, consciously adjust your posture, not to become someone else, but to stop abandoning who you already are. And pay attention. The world responds differently when you stop asking permission to exist and quietly begin taking up your space. No one respects someone who presents themselves as optional. 4. Your face carries every complaint you've ever made. There's a habit that ages you faster than time itself, and almost nobody notices while it's happening. Complaining. Think about it. When you complain, what expression automatically takes over your face? Your forehead wrinkles, your lips tighten, your jaw clenches. It's the same expression as someone carrying something unbearably heavy inside. Now here's what almost nobody considers. You don't do it once in a while. You do it dozens of times every single day. Now imagine repeating that exact same emotional movement 50 times a day, every day for years. You know those expression lines you have today? That deep crease between your eyebrows, those hard lines around your mouth. That's not just age. That's emotional training repeated until it became your default shape. Epictetus had a quote that changes everything. People are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. Put simply, you don't react to what happens. You react to the story you tell yourself about what happens. And every complaint reinforces that story. It's like pressing the same button in your brain over and over, strengthening the same neural pathway. But that pathway doesn't stay in your mind. It travels into your body, into your face, into your posture. Your face becomes the permanent portrait of the story you repeat every day. You know that person who seems bitter, tense, and heavy, even when they're silent, as if they're always unhappy about something. That's not their resting face. That's the face of someone constantly judging reality. Now think about someone else who, even while going through real hardships, seems calmer, with softer eyes and a lighter expression. They don't live without problems. They live without complaining about them. The difference between those two people isn't luck or an easier life. It's their inner posture. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control. In everyday language, it means this: if something isn't under your control, complaining only adds more suffering. If it is under your control, complaining only delays action. Complaining is like flooring the gas pedal while the car is in neutral. It makes noise, burns energy, and goes nowhere. And here's the part few people accept. Every complaint is an emotional contraction that your face learns to repeat. Without realizing it, you're sculpting your own expression with impatience, irritation, and resistance to reality. Now comes the practical shift. For the next 7 days, do something simple but intentional. Every time you catch yourself about to complain, stop for 2 seconds. Take a breath, then ask yourself, is this within my control? If it isn't, accept it and let it go. Acceptance isn't agreement, it's choosing to stop hurting yourself over something you can't control. If it is within your control, act immediately, even if it's only one small step, because action dissolves tension, while complaining only locks it in place. Within 2 weeks, something interesting will happen. Your face will relax, not because of a miracle, but because you stopped repeating the same emotional contraction. People will notice. They'll ask, you seem different, lighter. And the answer is simple. You stopped carving your own face with complaint. The person who complains about everything wears on their face the life they refuse to accept. The person who takes action develops an expression that time itself cannot harden. 5. Social media. This isn't about saying that social media is bad for you. Everyone already knows that. The point here is more subtle, quieter, and far more destructive. Every time you scroll through your feed comparing your body, your life, or your pace to someone else's, something happens inside your body before it ever happens in your mind. Try it right now. Pick up your phone, open Instagram, scroll for 2 minutes while comparing yourself. Now stop. Touch your face, feel your forehead, your jaw, your neck. There's tension there. You didn't notice it, but your body switched into competition mode. Not because you want to compete, but because you've been trained to compare yourself. And here's the part almost nobody notices. You do this for 2-3 hours a day, every day, for months, for years. The result isn't only emotional, it's physical. A face that's chronically tense, lines carved by constant strain, eyes that seem distant, an expression that carries a quiet dissatisfaction, even when nothing is actually wrong. People notice it. You seem less present, less connected, less genuine, and presence is magnetic. Tension pushes people away. The Stoics had a central idea: live according to nature. In today's world, that means something simple and direct. Stop living according to your feed. Start living according to your own reality. You're comparing your real, unedited life to someone else's filtered, carefully selected, and perfectly curated version. It's like comparing the rough draft sitting on your desk to the finished bestseller displayed in a bookstore window. It's not a lack of effort. It's a game you were never meant to win, and anyone who keeps playing eventually pays for it with their own body. The solution isn't deleting social media, it's taking control of your relationship with it. Try a conscious digital fast. 1 hour a day without social media. The first few times, you'll feel anxious, restless, like you're missing out on something, but pay attention to your body. After 30 minutes, touch your face again. The tension has eased. Look in the mirror. You seem more present, more whole, more comfortable in your own skin. In 30 days, people will notice. They'll tell you that you seem calmer, more confident, more grounded. And that happens for one simple reason. You stopped carrying, every single day, the weight of impossible comparisons. People who spend their lives comparing themselves walk through life with tension written across their faces. Those who let go of comparison give their true face back to the world. Because in the end, the problem was never the feed. The problem was allowing it to decide how you show up. And no one builds a strong life while wearing the expression of someone who's constantly losing a race they never chose to run. 6. The way you eat says everything. There's another place where your level of self-mastery becomes impossible to hide. The way you eat. I'm not talking about dieting. I'm not talking about appearance. I'm talking about control, or the lack of it. Do you eat with intention, or on autopilot? Do you choose what you put into your body, or do you simply react to whatever impulse shows up, like opening the refrigerator without even realizing you're doing it? Do you stop when you're satisfied? Or do you keep eating until you feel heavy, sluggish, and guilty? It's like overfilling a gas tank and then complaining that the car doesn't run well. More doesn't create power. It takes away control. And that doesn't affect only your weight. It affects the way you carry yourself, the way you feel, and the way you present yourself to the world. When you eat without control, you're not only affecting your body, you're training your mind to give in. You're telling yourself, through small actions repeated over and over again, I'm not in charge of myself. And the mind learns quickly. The body expresses what the mind accepts. That's why a lack of control around food eventually shows up in your posture, your energy, your presence, and the way you occupy your own space. The Stoics were obsessed with temperance, not as punishment, but as freedom. Marcus Aurelius asked a simple and brutally honest question: are you the master of yourself or a slave to your desires? That question doesn't appear only in life's biggest decisions. It shows up in the smallest moments. Every time you order takeout at 11 o'clock at night, not because you're hungry, but because you're bored, tired, or emotionally empty, you strengthen your own chains. It's a small act, but a symbolic one. It's like handing over the steering wheel of your life to whichever impulse happens to honk the loudest. On the other hand, every time you eat with awareness, you practice freedom. It's not about restriction, it's about choice. It's not rigidity, it's self-respect. Eating well isn't an aesthetic decision, it's an act of leadership over yourself, and self-command is built in the moments when no one is watching. Here's a practical challenge: eat one meal every day with complete mindfulness. No screens, no distractions, just you and your food. Chew slowly, notice the flavors. Stop when you're satisfied, not when you're stuffed. Within 5 days, you'll notice steadier energy, better digestion, and something subtle, yet life-changing: presence. You'll carry yourself differently, speak differently, make decisions differently, because the person who learns to master small impulses inevitably begins to master life itself. And here's the final thought worth remembering: whoever cannot govern what enters through the mouth will rarely govern what comes out in the form of decisions. 7. Your body speaks first, and the world believes it. Your body language is not just how you stand still. It is how you walk in, how you move through a room, how you occupy a space. There is the person who walks into a room and is noticed immediately, and there is the person who walks in and seems invisible. The difference is not beauty, status, or clothing. It is physical presence built and sustained over time. And the most dangerous part is that you do it without even realizing it. You avoid eye contact, keep your gestures small and restrained, take up as little space as possible, walk with your shoulders rolled forward and your steps short, almost as if you are apologizing for being there. They are tiny signals, almost invisible, but constant. Each one quietly communicates: I don't belong here. I don't want to bother anyone. I'd rather go unnoticed. And your body says all of that before your mouth ever has the chance to correct it. It is like walking into every room with the volume of your own existence turned all the way down. Even when you have something valuable to say, your body has already decided it is not worth that much. Epictetus was obsessed with self-mastery. Not mastery over others, but mastery over himself. He taught something simple and brutally honest: you control your body, your actions, and your choices. In other words, presence is not talent, it is conscious practice. And this is where everything begins to change. For the next 3 days, simply observe and adjust. Hold steady eye contact, not aggressively, just with genuine presence. Use broader gestures, without exaggeration. Walk like someone who belongs wherever they are. That is not arrogance, it is alignment. Feel your feet firmly planted on the ground. Fill the air with your gaze. Fill the moment with your presence, without announcing yourself, without explaining yourself. People respond differently, not because you demanded respect, but because you stopped moving like someone asking permission to exist. Presence does not need to be explained. It is carried in the body, and the world responds to what you embody, not to what you wish for. No one respects someone who moves through every room as if they are only passing through. 8. The tiny movements that give away anxiety. There is something that reveals your anxiety before you even realize you are anxious. It is not what you say. It is not what you think. It is what your body does automatically. You constantly touch your hair, you bite your nails or pick at your cuticles. You bounce your leg non-stop. You touch your face over and over again. You clench your hands, cross and uncross your fingers, as if you are always waiting for something to go wrong. They are small movements, almost invisible, but repeated often enough to destroy your presence. Now comes the part that almost nobody understands. Those tiny movements are not just signs of anxiety, they actually feed it. It becomes a silent cycle. Your body enters a state of alert. Your mind interprets that as danger, even when there is no real threat. You are not nervous because the situation is tense. The situation feels tense because your body is acting as if it is in danger. And people pick up on that. Before you say a single word, the other person already senses instability, insecurity, and a lack of inner control. Not because they are judging you, but because they are reading basic body language. Someone who cannot control small movements gives the impression that they cannot control their own internal state. Marcus Aurelius practiced what we now call mindfulness. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But what almost nobody realizes is that mastering the mind begins with mastering the body, not the other way around. If you do not govern your movements, your thoughts will always be trying to catch up. When you notice one of these anxious movements, do not judge yourself. Stop consciously. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. Place your hands in a neutral position. This is not suppression, it is command. You are telling your nervous system, there is no danger right now. For the next 5 days, do this every time you notice an anxious gesture. Replace the movement with intentional stillness and slow breathing. The effect is immediate. Anxiety decreases, presence grows, your gaze becomes steadier, your body stops calling for help when no help is needed. The person who controls their body projects confidence, and the person who projects confidence inspires trust. And here is the final point, the one many people never accept. You do not lose authority because you feel anxious. You lose authority when you let your body announce your anxiety before you ever open your mouth. The person who cannot govern their own gestures presents themselves to the world as someone who is always on the verge of losing control. 9. Simple, overlooked, and destructive. Water. There is something even more basic, and precisely because of that, even more neglected. Water. Do you think you're hydrated? You probably aren't. Look at your face. Dry skin, chapped lips, darker under-eye circles, a tired expression, dull eyes. That isn't just exhaustion. It's your body operating at its limit while you pretend everything is fine. Now comes the part that almost nobody takes seriously. Studies show that about 75% of people live in a state of chronic dehydration without even realizing it. It isn't a lack of water, it's a lack of attention to your own body. You spend the entire day asking for focus, energy, and mental clarity, but you give your body only the bare minimum it needs to survive, not to perform well. It's like trying to drive with the gas tank on empty, then complaining about the way the car runs. Your body always collects the bill, and dehydration does it quietly. Less water means thicker blood, poorer circulation, a slower brain, dull skin, stiff muscles, constant fatigue. You don't just lose energy, you get drained little by little. And the most dangerous part is that it starts to feel normal. You get used to living below your true potential. You blame your age, your routine, your stress. It isn't any of those things. It's repeated neglect. The Stoics were clear about this. Discipline wasn't punishment. It was systematic self-care. Taking care of the body was a way of honoring reason itself, because a neglected body sabotages every attempt at clarity, presence, and inner mastery. Water isn't a minor detail. It's part of the foundation. Without enough water, there is no sustained focus, no good posture, no restorative sleep, no healthy skin, no steady presence. Everything breaks down on the inside first. And there is nothing complicated about this. A 1-liter water bottle, 3 times a day, no negotiation. It isn't an impressive goal, it's basic maintenance. Within a few days, something changes. Your skin responds, your eyes look more alive, your expression softens, your mind becomes clearer. Not because you did something extraordinary, but because you stopped treating your own body like it was disposable. And here's the truth that brings this lesson to a close. Your body reflects exactly the level of respect you practice toward yourself. Not what you say, not what you think, what you do every single day. People who neglect the basics are always asking for advanced results. And that's not how life works. No one builds strength while ignoring what matters most. If you want to become unrecognizable, start with something simple. Stop surviving at your limit and start giving your body the minimum it truly requires. Because someone who doesn't stay hydrated isn't lacking water. They're lacking priorities. Let me be brutally honest with you. I didn't always know this. There was a time when I avoided cameras, stayed away from social events, and any kind of attention completely drained me. I'd look in the mirror and see someone faded, exhausted, with lifeless eyes, living in permanent energy-saving mode. I slept 4 or 5 hours a night, spent hours mindlessly scrolling through social media, comparing my life to unrealistic highlights, complained about everything as if that could lighten a weight that never went away, ate on autopilot. My body wasn't failing me. It was simply reflecting the way I was living on the inside. Then, one day, I lost an important opportunity. Someone looked at me and said, "You look like you have no energy." It hurt. It hurt because it was true. It was like hearing out loud something I had been pretending not to see. Not long after that, I came across Marcus Aurelius, and one simple sentence: "Our life is what our thoughts make it." Everything clicked. I had been trying to control the world, comparing myself to everyone else, trying to fill my life from the outside, while I was leaking from the inside like a bucket full of holes. So I stopped making promises and started a real experiment, 30 days applying these exact principles. The first few days were hard. The silence was uncomfortable. The absence of distractions exposed everything I had been avoiding. It wasn't beautiful and it wasn't quick. It was uncomfortable and it was real. But after 30 days, people started noticing. After 60, I recognized myself in the mirror. Not as someone perfect, but as someone more present, more whole, more awake. I still make mistakes today, I still slip, but the difference is simple. Now I notice it immediately and I choose differently. Before, I just kept sinking without realizing it. And you can do the same. Not tomorrow, not next Monday, right now, 30 days, no speeches. One simple system: check your posture several times a day, treat sleep like a priority, spend less time on social media, use your breathing to lower stress, eat with intention, keep your body hydrated, keep your mind present. No heroics, no extremes, just consistency. Document it, compare it, pay attention. Because when the mind changes, the body responds, every single time. And when the body changes, the world responds with it. Here at Stoic Home, we turn the wisdom of the ancients into strength for modern life. If this message speaks to your soul, leave a like, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you again soon.